Well guys, it's that time of the year again, and 2021 was an interesting one for laptops, that's for sure. Because in the last 12 months, we took a look at almost 30 different laptops, from gaming monsters to thin and lights. Some of them were good, others were just terrible, and a few were plain amazing. But of all of those, 5 of them stood out as the best of the best for one reason or another. Some of them are low-priced hidden gems, while others packed huge performance into small spaces. But either way, those are the ones that I would actually spend my own money on. So let's get to that after a quick word from today's video sponsor.
Put everything on display, you say? The Tower 100 Mini by Thermaltake grants you a 3-way view of your components with that mini vending machine look that is surely unique for an ITX enclosure. You've got ATX power supply support, large CPU tower heatsinks, triple slot GPUs with no riser necessary, and all the ventilated panels are properly dust-proof. The motherboard I/O is facing up for easy access, and the 2 included fans ensure proper airflow out of the box. This Tower 100 Mini is for those who like to explore. Check it out below.
Now, before I get into the laptops themselves, I also want to give a quick shout out to some of the best and worst things about this year in the laptop market, at least when it comes to technology. First of all, we saw the launch of Zen 3 with the 5000H and U series. These really put the screws to Intel, and they played a big role in making great specs just a bit more affordable. But it wasn't all perfect. The 5000 series lineup was a weird mashup of Zen 3 and Zen 2, with the older architecture getting less performance and worse battery life. And it turned out that laptops with Zen 2 were easier to find, whereas the ones with Zen 3, like the ones that had the 5600U and the 5800U, are still pretty rare. AMD also rolled out the new RX 6000M series of GPUs, which competed well against NVIDIA's RTX 3000 series. But head into any laptop forum and you'll find a long list of nightmares for laptops with Ryzen 5000 series CPUs alongside Radeon GPUs. A great example is the Strix G15 Advantage Edition, which has an endless list of people complaining about crashes, random reboots, graphics corruption, and a bunch of other nastiness. Then there is Tiger Lake H35. I mean, seriously, what the heck was that, Intel? It was obviously a desperate attempt to stay relevant in early 2021, but man, that thing was a disappointment. Those processors were supposed to lower the cost of gaming laptops, but that didn't really happen. 2 laptops that I looked at, specifically the TUF F15 and the Acer Triton 300 SC, really weren't worth the money at all. Luckily for Intel, by mid-year, laptops with H45 processors were becoming available, and those ended up competing with the Ryzen 5000 series really well. So that was pretty much 2020 in a nutshell, guys. Better competition, lots of wins led to some amazing laptops, and some big fails ended up producing some lemons too. But the biggest story was stock, or the lack of stock actually. And that leads me to some of the best laptops of 2021. Now, all the links for these will be in the description down below, and I will also link the individual reviews for them, or you can actually check the icon right over there. So let's start things off with the Legion 5 Pro, because this might be one of our favorite gaming laptops of all time. It features AMD's Ryzen processor and NVIDIA's RTX graphics, and both those components don't have any power restrictions, so multi-core performance and gaming performance is incredible. It's also got a robust cooling system to keep temperatures under control, but I think the main highlight of this laptop is that gorgeous 16:10 display. It's fast, at 165 Hz with G-Sync, covers 100% sRGB and 78% DCI-P3, while also being able to sustain a peak brightness of 550 nits. You get a ton of ports. The main ones are located at the back for easier cable management. The build quality is great, the keyboard is excellent, and the overall design is somewhat minimal, except for that giant Y logo slapped onto the lid. Pricing is also decent for the specs, and you won't have any trouble finding this laptop right now. My recommendation is to go with the RTX 3060 or 3070 versions and avoid the 3050 models. Next up, we have the ROG Zephyrus G15. Now, this is one of the best AMD gaming laptops released this year, and it was also the first too. The main highlight of this laptop is its incredible battery life. Our sample got over 13 hours of use from casual productivity tests, and close to 3 hours on a heavy load scenario. And that's the longest that we've ever seen on a gaming laptop to date. It's fairly lightweight, which makes portability a breeze. The keyboard is fantastic, and the trackpad features precision glass for that precise navigation. The performance on the CPU side is top-notch thanks to the Ryzen 9 5900HS CPU, but if you plan to spec it out to an RTX 3080, it only operates at up to 80 watts, which is on the lower end of NVIDIA's power spectrum, but it still manages to put out some amazing frame rates. I think the G15 really showed what AMD laptops are really capable of in 2021. Unfortunately, it was really difficult to get hands-on due to lack of availability. Next up, we have the XPS series from Dell. Now, I've been using both the XPS 13 OLED and the XPS 17 for the longest time of any laptop this year, and the reason for that is pretty simple. They have the best build quality of any Windows laptop. The keyboard is by far my favorite to use, and the display is superb. I'm going to start with the XPS 17. Now, I never thought that I would like a 17-inch laptop this much, but I was actually surprised at how much Dell was able to pack inside a relatively thin and portable chassis. The battery life is great. It comes with a full-size SD card reader, and if you're a creator, this should be on the top of your list. The XPS 13 OLED that I also used is still a lovely little laptop. It's so compact that it can fit inside my Messenger backpack, no problem. It still has that amazing keyboard from the XPS 17, and the battery life is still really good. Now, if you're looking for that top-tier performance, these don't really fall into that category, as they do have some power and thermal constraints to work with, considering the slim profile. But for everyday productivity and some creative focused tasks, they do an amazing job, guys. If you're looking for a happy medium between the XPS 17 and the XPS 13, the XPS 15 is an ideal choice. Now, I am 100% aware of all the QC issues that these laptops have, and supposedly Dell has addressed them with the newer batch. Personally, I haven't encountered any of those major issues like what I've been reading up on Reddit, so I still think that this is a great buy, especially if you happen to find one during Dell's crazy sales. Now, I have a surprise for you guys. We have a special guest for this video who's going to chime in on his top 3 best gaming laptops within 3 different price points. So Jared, my friend, take it away.
Hello there, I'm Jared from the Jared's Tech channel. I review a lot of gaming laptops, and these are my top 3 picks in these 3 different price ranges. Starting out with the below $1,000 price point, unfortunately a lot of gaming laptops have just gone up in price this year. Some of the more budget-friendly gaming laptop options that started at $600 just last year are $800 to $900 now, and that's just due to supply shortages and whatnot. Right now, a gaming laptop with a quad-core CPU and GTX 1650 graphics is about $900 in either the Acer Nitro 5 or Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming 3. So considering that those more entry-level options are $900 anyway, you might as well spend $900 on something like the Dell G15. It stands out to me as for similar money, you instead get a 6-core Ryzen processor and RTX 3050 graphics. And that's just going to perform better while also giving you DLSS support. Now, if you've got a bit more money to spend, say between $1,000 and $1,500, then you're going to be looking at either the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060 or the AMD Radeon RX 6600M. Both of these GPUs are going to be able to run any modern game with high settings, no problem. They're a great sweet spot. Now, the best gaming laptop I've tested all year in this price range is the Lenovo Legion 5, and that's actually available with either of those 2 GPUs. What sets the Legion 5 apart for me is that it uses a full wattage GPU, so maximum power for best performance in games. And it's got a mux switch, meaning you can disable Optimus for a speed boost. And the 165Hz screen also has both FreeSync when Optimus is on and G-Sync when Optimus is off, so best of both worlds. All things considered, the Legion 5 just offers great value and gaming performance. Now, if price isn't a concern, then technically speaking, the Clever X170 desktop replacement was the best laptop that I tested all year. This thing has 4 M.2 slots, 4 memory slots, and even upgradable desktop CPU and GPU. So you can go up to Intel i9 11900K and RTX 3080. Pretty crazy stuff. The problem is, it's super thick and heavy, way too big for most people. So in terms of a more traditional laptop, I've got to give it to the Tongfeng chassis known as the Electronics Mech 15 G3 in the US. US market or the XMG Neo 15 in Europe. Again, it's available with both Ryzen or Intel options, NVIDIA RTX 3070 or 3080 graphics at full wattage, and with a mux switch. So excellent gaming performance, but definitely at a higher cost. It's also got a large 93 watt-hour battery, 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, SD card slot, 1440p 165Hz screen, mechanical keyboard, and just a nice metal built chassis. Seriously, it feels great and it's got a lot to offer. I should also note that while NVIDIA's RTX 3080 did perform the best this year, generally it also cost the most too. And those are my top gaming laptop picks for the year. Let me know what you thought.
Thanks a lot, Jared. Those were some really amazing picks. I appreciate you for taking the time to be part of this video, man. Now, as I mentioned before, the XPS series was one of the best Windows-based creator laptops around. But if you want to step outside the Windows ecosystem, there's this. Yep, the new MacBook Pro from Apple featuring the new M1 Pro chip. Listen, I've been using this laptop, as you can see, it's powering this entire setup right here for the past few months as my primary system to create content, and I'm absolutely in love with it, guys. You see, what Apple has achieved with the new M1 Pro and M1 Max chips is a testament to how advanced Apple has taken modern computing. I can easily edit 4K footage without experiencing any stutters or drop frame rates. Photoshop and Lightroom just fly on this machine, and it's noticeably faster than my desktop PC. The best part, which still boggles my mind, is how we can maintain that peak performance while staying on battery. And that's something that Windows laptops still struggle to date. And on top of that, the battery life is just incredible. Apple has just nailed the performance and efficiency with these new chips. All the other factors like the display, keyboard, and trackpad, and of course the exceptional build quality, all translates into one of the best options for any pro-level work. Sure, it's expensive, like really expensive, but if I can replace my desktop and my laptop with one thing, this fills in that blank perfectly. Now, I do have a few content ideas in the pipeline for the new MacBook Pro. One of them is actually comparing it to a Windows equivalent pro-level laptop, so definitely stay tuned for that. My last pick is the HP Pavilion Aero 13. This laptop brings a lot of amazing features for under $1,000. You get a Zen 3 5000U series CPU that offers great single-core and multi-core performance. It legitimately gives Intel's Tiger Lake series a run for its money. The built-in webcam is surprisingly really good, actually better than some premium Windows laptops. You get a good selection of ports, and most importantly, you get a beautiful 16:10 display that covers more than 80% of the DCI-P3 color spectrum, and it's incredibly bright. The keyboard feels similar to the higher-end Spectre series, and for $800 for the Ryzen 7 version or $600 for the Ryzen 5 version, you really can't beat it. Now, I want to wrap this video with a few honorable mentions. Of course, there's the MacBook Air M1, which did come out last year, but it's still one of the best, if not the best in light laptops around. Dimitri did a fantastic video about his experience using that, so make sure to check it out right over here. Then there's the Dell Inspiron 16 Plus. So think of this laptop like an XPS on a budget, but with some more of a GPU punch. It has pretty much everything you could want in a 16-inch laptop for a really fair price. It starts at $850 with the UHD graphics, but the standout model is the one that I tested. For $1,400, you get an i7 11800H and an RTX 3060, a beautiful 3K 16:10 display, and good build quality, so it's a really great alternative. I also want to bring up the new Razer Blade 15 Advanced model. Now, if you're looking to get more power from a discrete RTX 30 series GPU in a relatively thin and light premium chassis, this is a great option as it offers great gaming performance. Now, to give you a little bit of perspective, our model with the RTX 3070 featuring 90 watts of power was able to run circles around the Zephyrus G15, rocking a 3080 running at 80 watts. Now, they are pricey, but you are paying a premium for that amazing build quality. Now, lastly, there's the ROG Flow X13. This device takes everything about portable gaming to a whole new level, and ASUS was able to do that by introducing an ecosystem that allows you to expand your performance profile by just attaching it to an external slim GPU dock, and it works really well. I gotta give it to ASUS for thinking outside the box and redefining portable gaming. So that about wraps up our best laptops for 2021. Let us know if you guys agree with our picks, and if we did mess out on a few options, I'm more than happy to look at the comments and start a conversation. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.